rush away when I make that song. All these possibilities, I feel it deep inside me. You're everything reminds me.
Hello and welcome back to Kendra Live on this wonderful mid-September day, and we have Rosh Hashanah coming up this weekend for those that celebrate this wonderful holiday. And speaking of Rosh Hashanah, we have Israelis of West Palm's very own Israeli gypsy warrior princess, and who I refer to as the rich man's Gal Gadot. Please welcome Limor Ben Ari.
Hi! Wow, with that intro. By the way, yeah.
What?
Gal Gadot and I have the same birthday.
I know. Yeah, that's why I slipped that one in there. But yeah, you're just so modest in your approach, and like I said off the air just recently, you do that by design so that you just come with these bag of surprises, because you have done so much in the course of your lifetime so far, and you've covered so much ground, from a clothing line to working with Fortune 500 companies and TV production studios in New York and major marketing firms. And now I see a new venture on the line, which is real estate. So you cover a lot of ground, and being that you are so earthy yourself, because like I said, you're like this gypsy warrior, you're so grounded, and I feel like that has translated into your life and your ventures. So what is Limor's story? Like, I want to hear it straight from the honeybee.
Aw, that's so sweet. Well, first of all, I'm excited to see you because I haven't seen you in a while, so it's good to reconnect coast to coast and hang with
Yeah.
you again. But
Yeah, I was like, what's like, where's the last time that we left off? It probably was at like some like nightlife establishment in like Atlantic
yep,
Avenue or Clematis, one of those. Yeah.
we were dancing together at some point.
Yeah, we were.
I, yes. And Shana Tova, happy Rosh Hashanah. It's
Yes.
it's exciting to celebrate this honeybee holiday. I have the honeybee behind me.
Oh, that is awesome. Yeah, well, honey is like an everlasting like food or a condiment. I mean, they archaeologists uncovered old honey, like ancient honey jars from like the pyramids in Egypt, and the honey was still edible. So it's like it stands the test of time, which is
Yes,
like a
please.
marvel.
It is the most ancient form of and also we wouldn't be here without the bees, obviously. Whoever watched the bee
Yeah,
movie knows that.
the
But
bee
yeah,
movie, yeah.
we
So
wouldn't be here without the bees.
so back to your story. Like, you you worked alongside doing the marketing and doing the inner workings for the Suzanne Summer show in New York. And like, how did you get into into the whole New York communications field, from from being a part of the Israeli army and the Ministry of Defense? You have titles that are only heard of in like Bond films, like.
I love it. Okay. So I'll give a little backdrop to my
Yeah.
story. So I was born in Israel, in a kibbutz up north. A kibbutz, it's like a communal social living. I think that's where the gypsy spirit came from.
Yeah.
But, you know, later on I served for the IDF in Israel, the communications department for the Ministry of Defense. And they sent me after the army to continue my mission in the US. That's where I worked in New York. But meanwhile, behind the scenes, I fell in love with advertising and marketing when I was 14. I used to watch TV commercial spots and be amazed at the power of a 30-second video spot to make you like laugh and cry and feel. So I got into advertising and copywriting. I studied it in New York. I went to School of Visual Arts and FIT. I took as many advertising classes as I could. And then I started working in the advertising world. So after serving for the communications department for the government of Israel, which I can't tell you what I did, I'll have to kill you, but Bond style. But it was top secret information, but it had to do with computers and technology and the transmission of information. So that's where I got into technology, but I also loved advertising. So these two worlds merged when I started working in Florida, I worked with Zimmerman Advertising. In Tel Aviv, I worked with BBDO. So I was always working on campaigns, and the national brands also came through the ad agency world. Later, I was the VP of marketing for TV shows on Lifetime Television and TLC. So that's where I was later recruited to work with Suzanne Summers on her morning show. I actually have a Telly award over here. I'll show you this one.
Oh. Oh, so nonchalant. Just let me show you my award.
It's hanging on my desk. It's dusty. But yeah, I mean, so that was the project. The Suzanne show was about to air, and the producers called me 3 weeks prior to airtime, and we had to launch all the social media, the websites, the newsletters, marketing, promote the show, and contact 25 sponsors at the time and do cross promotions. So yeah, it was a lot of work in 3 weeks, but we made it. But yeah, I mean, since then, you know, I have Dvash, my marketing firm, which I love. I worked with over 60 companies. A lot of them are health and wellness and fashion brands and technology startups. And over time, because I knew how to take ideas from and you know, concept to reality, from you know, the logo design, the branding, website, digital marketing, and all of that, I launched my own fashion line, Be Human,
Yeah.
which is the human inspirational fashion, wearable fashion, where you have quotes and poetry on shirts. For the human beehive, I call it, because we're all like a beehive. And I guess the nonchalant spirit is that something that we talked about, Kendra, in the past, uh, beyond the cameras, was that, you know, it's all people. When we look at social media communities or digital media or marketing, it's at the end of the day conversations between real people. And you're as real as it gets. That's what I always loved about you. You're always real. And
Oh, thank
and
you.
also with the power of influencers, you know, you are an influencer, and a lot of the celebrities I worked with, you know, we have a lot of power now when we have access to so many minds and so many people. And we, with great power comes great responsibility, like Spider-Man's grandpa Ben said, Uncle Ben.
Yeah. That's a great quote. I love Spider-Man. Spidey senses.
Exactly, yes. So yeah, it's keeping it real and being down with the people, you know, no matter what we do. Because even the Fortune 500 companies and the celebrities and the movie producers, they all want at the end of the day, not only the eyeballs and the views and the clicks, they want human connection and engagement with their people, with their community, with their beehive. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Well, and that's ultimately, especially because you touched upon it so meaningfully, is that especially in my industry, people like misconceive like artists or figures for just being, mouthpieces and being figureheads, which is like inarguable, because we do have those that are figureheads and mouthpieces, and those have kind of shaped the misconception, because especially when I work with people in this industry, it's almost like, and I'm not here to toot my own horn, but it's like they're so surprised that I do have a mind of my own, and I'm not willing to bend the knee or placate to them. And sometimes it's for them, they thought that they had like an easy out for me being an artist, but then they get over that, and then they're just pleasantly surprised that there is like, like a fresh breath of air, um, that has been
A real
like brought to
person.
this industry. But what?
Yeah, a real person with thoughts and ideas and emotions, and you're always expressive about it through your songs and your everything.
Yeah, and also that in being that you're like, I've always admired like your fashion line, because it does have meaningful quotes on the shirts, on the items. And when you wear that out, you're embodying something, and then it just radiates out. And being that that's where we're at today, it's even more, it comes it comes more with a gusto and with like a credence. So
Yeah,
how
exactly.
has how how has like marketing been for you, and how has that been kind of, not like reshape, because we're always like evolving as a society, but ever since the heightened sensitivity that's been going on, like the ever since the pandemic, like how has that been affected?
Well, in marketing, first of all, since the pandemic, I mean, I personally have been working from home since 2012 because I worked with
Yeah.
companies in Germany, New York, LA, everywhere. So I've been so accustomed to the whole virtual workspace and global talent too, because now we have access to global creative talent from all over the world. But really, we always had it. We just never used it because we were confined to the four walls, geographical location of talent. But now there's access to the whole world. But I've been using it since 2012. So for me, it's only like more same work-wise.
Yeah.
But then when it comes to sensitivity, you can see the difference in everything. I mean, when developing content, and now there's a huge awareness for diversity and inclusion. So everything has to be diversified, from images to the language and optimized. When you look even at stock photography and stock imaging sites, everything is, very diversified. So it's good. I mean, I like it, but it's also, there's no room almost to the, traditional forms of, you have to be extra careful with everything you do. So you're like tiptoeing a
Yeah.
lot, and you want to
Yeah.
include everybody, but us two Jewish girls in talking, they the
Yeah.
Jews are kind of right now shoved into the corner in a way. When you speak in
Yeah.
marketing content terms, it's like we don't really have a visibility right
Well,
now.
and And that's what I was talking to one of my producers, and he's more on the liberal side, but you know, he's more on the like a objective liberal side. But he told me he's like I'm so tired. I'm so tired of having this to be like an obligation. Like, why can't we just create and write from like straight from here to to here and to here? Like, why does it have to go through all these other different like filters? And that's where free flowing art forms, that's where it defeats the purpose of being free flowing. So
Yeah, it's
like
and even when you look at art and cinematography or movies from the 80s, I mean Eddie Murphy Coming to America and Whoopi Goldberg Ghost, like all of it was like some of the greatest films of all times that like I watch and enjoy today. But
yeah,
back then we didn't have to think about skin color and racial, like it was just art and it was just a movie and it was great and funny.
yeah,
It wasn't pre-planned and plugged in almost as it is now. It's now like being formatted this way instead of just being expressed and delivered naturally and organically.
yeah. Well, I was listening to Patrick Bet David, who I've grown to really admire, but he had a video about the kind of like the downfall of Hollywood right now, because originally films were being made in New Jersey, and because Edison signed a certain bill that essentially box creatives in, the film industry was like, you know, double barrel, we're moving to California, we're moving the industry to California where we don't have limitations and where we don't have
Yeah.
certain like sanctions. So now it's like it's the like history is now repeating itself. So, but I don't see like Hollywood like physically relocating to a certain area. I just see it like reforming and moving into like nationwide and worldwide in like independent um uh areas and uh independent like flagships. So
Yeah.
that's where, yeah, that's what's happening right now. And we touched upon this because you were asking me how things were going out here, and I said, well, because of the strike, you know, it sends a signal out for the independents to rise up and to take center stage. So
Yeah.
yeah, and
Well, yeah. I
yeah,
spoke
go
to
ahead.
producers who moved from LA to Florida or Texas. Those are the areas. And it came from that sense of, we have no room for creative expression, and there's so many limitations and guidelines, and it's so structured that there's no creative freedom anymore to just create without boxing it all. So it did come from that, and I think there's going to be a lot of shifts and changes. But also, when you look at producers and production houses, from a marketing perspective, what they care about is producing something that people will watch eventually.
Yeah,
Because if people don't watch it, they can't exist. Production studios. So, it will go back to the people eventually, because it's what people want. Whatever people want, that's what eventually is going to be created and produced from a money, above production sense. But also now Netflix pretty much owns the entire production world, because everybody's is moving into Netflix, and they
yeah,
need content. So I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of the content on Netflix is foreign. It says, subtitled and
yeah,
dubbed, because there's such a need in content right now. because also we used to, I mean, back in the day, I'm saying back in the day, I'm old. You're not allowed to say back in the day, but I'm saying back in the day, we weren't used to, watching a movie or a series for 10 hours straight. Like you can sit in front of the TV and watch one show or one production for 10 hours straight. So the amount
That's
of
what we call
content,
binge watching.
yeah, and you get the alert. Are you still watching?
Are you still watching? Have you fallen asleep? Are you in the kitchen, uh scraping some Nutella on a piece of toast? Like what are you doing?
Where are you?
Yeah, where are you? But yeah, like Netflix has gone more foreign, like because I think they're getting desperate for content, and so they're just like, okay, Brazil, okay, that's a good
Mhm.
movie. We'll take it on. And it's
Exactly.
like, oh,
You know
it's like, oh,
what else
yeah.
happens? And I have a story about that, but I had a crazy producer. I can say crazy. I'm not saying his name, so I can say he was crazy. But he was very obnoxious and crazy. And he wanted to get his movie on to Netflix. And it was like a teen movie. So you would think that Netflix would pick it up. But for some reason, Netflix didn't want it, right? So he decided to pull a marketing strategy where we drive, 2 million views to the video on YouTube, to like a music video or a promo for the movie. And then Netflix will supposedly see that the video got, 2 million views. And then they would, pick up the movie. So, from a marketing perspective, I got him the 2 million views he wanted. But the Netflix thing never happened because, even today in social metrics, 2 million is like a drop in the bucket. And also, I don't know if they really care about, if they really do care about, what people want at this point.
What was the movie about? Just out of
Oh, I
curiosity.
can't tell you details. It was a teen movie, a musical
Oh, it was
teen
a teen
movie.
movie. A
A
musical
musical,
teen movie. Okay.
yeah.
Um, is there basketball involved? Um, is
No,
there a
it's
basketball
not. It's
scene
not a
involved?
famous. It's not a famous
Okay.
movie. It really made it to the screens.
Okay.
That's
I
that's
was
what I can
like,
tell.
I was like, is there a girl named Sharpay Evans in the in the movie? Is it that musical? Is that teen musical that we're talking about? Okay. Um,
No, it's not one. It's not a movie that
uh,
made it to screens. I can tell you that. That's why I can openly talk about it because it just shows you the
right.
challenge behind the scenes of how producers are trying to get into mainstream and how challenging it is, even when you're using marketing techniques. And another thing is with the influencers and celebrities, in order to get movie parts, they need to grow their communities online because they're competing, with Kim K
Yeah.
and the sisters, her sisters. So it's like it's a game of numbers and metrics of who has more followers and who can get more sponsor deals. And
Regardless of ability and talent, that's the crazy
oh,
part. I'm like why
that,
I'm like why I'm like why is Kim K in the new American Horror Story? I'm like the only acting experience like she has is being in the disaster movie, and like
yeah,
an asteroid like fell on her and then that was it. But like
yeah, don't
but
look up.
yeah, but yeah, maybe you should look up instead of looking at your selfie screen, uh, to see what's like, around you. But yeah, it's gotten well, I mean, just look at the Sound of Freedom movie, the obstacles that went through.
Oh my God.
Disney,
Okay, Stand of
the
Freedom.
yeah,
Yeah, you brought it up, so I have to tell you. I sat actually in LA, Chateau Marmont, with
hmm
Ali Landry and her husband, Alejandro, who's the producer of the Sound of
yeah,
Freedom. And they told me with tears in their eyes, and that was like over 5 years ago. they told me with tears in their eyes about the film that they're working on. And because even her husband experienced himself, a lot of crazy things in life that, triggered in him that need to search for
Right.
and the rescue missions and all of that. So they're two amazing people. I mean, I love them. Just when you're talking about authentic, celebrity couple or real people or real producers with a true purpose of bringing a story to life, it's the two of them. And we were sitting and they were sharing about the movie and really crying while sharing about it. And then I saw them, flying back and forth to film and going through the whole experience. And then when the movie came out, it was a box office hit. They hit like 40 million in
Yeah.
sales and not through big screens. And I messaged Ali and I told her, I'm so proud of you guys. And she said that she feels like it was from God, the whole way it came to
Well,
life. It's true magic what happened there with this film.
so that's pretty cool that you were that you just happened to be there while they were, walking through their journey, and you were there to, as they say, like, blood, sweat, and tears. Like, you were there to witness the tears part of it, on
Yeah.
their journey. So that just gives me goosebumps because I saw the movie, and I had to like do some mental and emotional preparation just to go in it, because it's an issue that hits home with me so much, just because I'm thankful to God that my parents like kept me back a little bit, so I wouldn't be another statistic in Hollywood, to like the predatory nature of it. But when I saw the movie, I was like, I cried like at least 7 times. And um my mom saw it. She was like, "Ugh, the Barbie movie sucked, but this was awesome."
Oh, yeah,
So
it's totally different. Yeah,
yeah,
the bar. I haven't
but
seen the
but
Barbie movie
that's
yet.
I haven't either, and I am preserving my eyeballs and my spirit. Um, so
Yes. As an Israeli, I went to see the Golda movie, but it was in the theaters one day and it was pulled because it didn't get enough views. There's not enough Jews in the world, Kendra.
I know,
There's only
right?
12 million of us on the entire planet, but somehow we're everywhere and we're bothering everybody. But there's only 12
Yeah.
million of us in the world.
No, because we're the money makers. Like, we make people money. Hello.
Oh, okay. So let's talk about Kenya. I mean, yeah, whatever his name is right now. The only reason we control Hollywood or control, law firms and all that is because nobody wanted to employ us and we had to start our own businesses. After the
Yeah.
Holocaust, nobody wanted to work with Jews. So we started building our own empires and now everybody's complaining that we own everything. That's how it
Yeah.
works.
That's the glorious price that everyone pays for us taking that initiative and being independent, and for having a hustle that is unrivaled. Um,
Yeah.
so with one minute left, I know everything comes to, a spotlight close. I want everyone to follow your journey. So where can people find you?
Oh, thanks. Well, wherever you are, I am spiritually. But technically speaking, on Instagram at Limor ben Aire, that's my handle. And over there, you can follow up all my different ventures. And that was fun. I'm glad we connected.
I know, and I'll be in Florida in a couple months, and whenever you feel the need to get a Cali or West Coast fix, come out here and we'll We'll paint the town.
Happy. Yay!
We'll go to the Chateau Marmont. We'll hit that up.
Oh, nice. Yes, and the Soul House, right? Those are the spots.
Yes, those are the
That's
spots for sure. Well, Limor, thanks so much for being on the show today. And for the rest of you out there, I will be back next Thursday on the 21st with a new guest. So thank you, and stay safe, stay golden, and stay and be human.
When you lay me down, I love the way you watch away. When I make that sound, all these possibilities, I feel it deep inside me.